The national champion is clad in big orange.
The pitch. Swing and a miss. That's the ball game. The national champion is clad in big orange.
Pat Summit and Destiny have met 7 times before. Tonight is number 8.
Tennessee Volunteers have wrapped up an SEC outright regular season title. Connect with
the SEC runs through Rocky Top. Tennessee wins the SEC regular season crown for the 2nd consecutive season.
the 1-0. Indiana, right center field. Ross on the move. Rock it there. Tennessee walks it off. It's a mismatch. Deep three. Come on now. Man, don't connect. Robbie Draghi this time. Indeed. New hand there. That little got it. The fly is high and again. And he's going to take it. Touchdown, Tennessee.
Hey, how much fun is this?
Man, Rocky Top, this is college football at its absolute best.
This is college athletics at its absolute best, man. Welcome in to another episode of the Fanatics Show. Unfortunately, coming off of a very tough week last week, but you know what? We're here.
We're here.
It's 1 week closer to Christmas. We still get to talk about ball, even though it's not going to be the greatest show in the world. But you know, we still get to talk about it. And you know, it's another day above ground, so it's a great day. My co-host Skylar, man, how we doing on this fine Thursday evening?
I doing awesome, man. I am the reason why we're late. I'm so sorry. I came straight from work. I didn't even realize I still had my name tag and everything on. I'm so sorry. But yeah, had an after hours event. We did a Toys for Tots drive, and man, that was so successful. So shout out to everybody behind the scenes that made that possible through work. If you are listening or if y'all listen down the road, I appreciate all you guys' help. I think we had like 50 people show up and filled up a couple boxes full of Toys for Tots. So that was huge. So great momentum going, professionally off the record, I guess, from the show. But yeah, we're here. We are live despite what all the haters said. I mean, nobody didn't think that we'd go live this week after that absolute butt whooping we just took at home in Neyland to Vanderbilt. But despite that outcome, Michael, I don't think we're the biggest losers of the week.
I completely and totally agree, man. There's a lot of other teams that lost. And you know what?
There's teams that won.
Yeah.
That probably lost, and it might even hurt worse because they didn't expect to lose. We'll talk about it. We got a lot to talk about. But I guess, I don't know. Professionally, personally, we're doing great. How are you doing, Michael?
Doing fantastic, man. You know, this week feeling a lot better than last week. I don't know if I disclosed last week, but my family was sick last week.
Oh, yeah.
At the beginning of Thanksgiving week. Still got, wife and baby just a little bit under the weather, but not anywhere like it was last week. So, we're doing a lot better with that. As mentioned already, it's 1 week closer to Christmas, getting to spend more time with family in the holidays. So, just getting one step closer to all that, that cheeriness. But you know what? Let's get right into tonight's show. But before we do that, would you like to give us our presenting show sponsor?
Absolutely. It's Chris Smith Insurance. As a homeowner, Chris Smith was once let down by an insurance company. So he started his own agency where instead of feeling like a big company is fighting against you, you'll know that your agent is fighting for you. All insurance is not equal. Trust Chris Smith Insurance today in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Give them a call at 865-272-3387. Again, that's 865-272-3387. Guys, Chris is not just going to find you the cheapest rates on coverages, right? A lot of agents will sell you on that. What he's going to do is make sure that you're properly insured as well. Just in case that accident or situation does arise, you at least have the peace of mind to know that you're properly covered. We always, especially in the restoration business, we get that we hear a lot from the homeowners, like, why do I even pay for insurance if I'm not even covered for so-and-so coverage? Well, Chris is going to make sure that you never even have to question that. So, Chris, as well as supporting our show, man, we really do appreciate you and your continued support since day one.
Absolutely, man. So I will give us our rundown real quick before we get right into this show.
We got some comments in
the
chat.
Segment one.
Fire.
Yeah. Segment one.
Thanks. It didn't take long to get that one.
You know what? We're going to talk a little bit about that.
We're going to talk about it. I can't wait.
Yeah. So segment one, unfortunately, we got to talk about it. We don't want to. We got to talk a little bit about Vanderbilt. We got to talk about that game, get it out of the way. We're not going to shy away from it no matter how bad we want to. We're going to talk about it. That's segment 1. Segment 2, we are going to give some thoughts on the offseason. We're not going to go into detail because we've got all offseason to talk about it, but we're going to talk about that. Then we're also going to talk about the big week that Tennessee had in recruiting. And then kind of as a little bonus, a little, 2-3 minute talk, 5 minutes at the most. Let's give our thoughts on the 6 new head coaching hires in the SEC. Is that it's so
there's a clear winner in this, by the way. There's a clear number 1 in my opinion.
100%.
And it ain't the big name that everybody's been hearing for the last 3 weeks. So
I think there's also a clear loser out of these hires as well. But we'll talk about that.
I'd agree with that.
We'll talk about that as well. But if you would have told me at the beginning of the season that we'd have 6 new head coaches, and I guess it's technically 5 new head coaches, but 6 different teams had to get a new head coach at the beginning of the season, I wouldn't have said some of the teams that ended up having to get a new head coach. But we're going to talk about that in segment 3. We are going to give conference championship weekend picks. Jake's going to come on and give us some Rakin picks. We did have a winning week last week, 3-2.
He's still digging. We still climbing. I guess, yeah, we're climbing out of that hole. It's fine.
Yeah, 100%. But, we do have a loaded show. We're going to try to keep it a little bit shorter tonight, though. But let's get right into it as I'll give you our segment 1 sponsor, which is Optimal Asbestos Services. Optimal Asbestos Services offers detailed asbestos inspections and air quality assessments. Whether you're looking to secure your home or workplace, you can trust Optimal Asbestos Services to deliver thorough and reliable solutions. You can contact Jeff Ball at 865-223-3297 for your consultation today, or go on the web at optimalasbestosservices.com. So, Vanderbilt, 45, Tennessee, 24. Initial thoughts, Skylar.
Initial thoughts is the second half was just abysmal. Middle 8 is my initial thoughts. Vanderbilt owned it.
100%.
Ending the first half the way they were able to, because we had the lead 21-14, and that's where I kind of looked at that. I was like, man, we need to really like step on them right now. Like we can't let them can't let them come back. And officials, you can say what you want, they suck all year, so it's just another turning point. But having back-to-back third down penalties in that drive to end the half. One was a roughing the passer, which I do believe is just the softest call ever. And then was it a pass interference? I think that was also on a 3rd and long that we stopped. Either way, but like allowing them to not just get points, but to get 7 as the half ended. And then to start out the second half, and they had the ball for like 7 minutes and scored another touchdown to take the lead. That right there, and then not having the response to that, I think you came out and did a 3-and-out to start the half. And I say to start the half, and it was already with like 8 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter, and you get a 3-and-out. That cannot happen. And that, to me, as far as the initial thoughts, there was a whole lot that we lost on, but the middle 8 was the real turning point in this game, and got to give Vanderbilt a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, 100%, man. My initial thoughts, and yes, unfortunately, Skeeter.
A lot of that is
we gave up 314 yards.
A lot of that's Pavia, man. You got to give it up to him. What did Pavia have? Rushing, Pavia, leading rusher, 165 rushing yards.
You cannot let that happen.
The running back averaged over 11 yards per carry as well.
So Pavia alone, you said 165 yards, correct?
Yes.
So Pavia alone carried it for 165 yards on the ground and had 268 yards passing. He had over 400 yards of total offense by himself.
That's a fact.
Cannot let that happen at all.
That's a fact. We appreciate y'all being tuned in, though. We got a lot of people on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, watching us right now live. Please do us a favor. Please like, follow, share, whatever you can do to get us out there, but also subscribe. YouTube channel, we've kind of slowed down a little bit. We're at 469 subscribers, really trying to push to 500, and we could really use your help. I know a lot of y'all watch, may not even know that y'all are not subscribed, so please do us a favor, check, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and we would greatly appreciate it, and that's all I'm going to say about that. We'll get right back into this game. What are your initial thoughts, Michael, on the Vanderbilt slaughtering in the second half? That second half was terrible.
How embarrassing.
Very.
Literally.
Very.
It's one thing to lose to Alabama the way that you lost to Vanderbilt. It's one thing to lose to Georgia. It's one thing to even lose to Florida. Florida historically in our lifetime has been very good. This year was a different story. Last couple of years been a different story, but I can handle losing to Alabama, Georgia, even Florida the way that we lost to Vanderbilt because, we've seen it happen numerous times in our lifetime. But to lose to Vanderbilt the way that we did, I can't handle that. It's embarrassing. It should never happen. I can handle losing to Vanderbilt, especially a Vanderbilt team that's as good as this one. But to just get run out of your own stadium the way that you did, embarrassing. Should not happen. Cannot ever happen again. Is historically over the last 20 years, any coach that has lost to Vanderbilt has ended up getting fired within the next year or two.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't foresee that happening with Heupel, especially because Vanderbilt is a much better team than Vanderbilt teams of past that have beaten Tennessee. So I think this is different circumstances behind it, but still you cannot let this happen ever again.
Yeah. Gator Truth, man, Gator Podcast. We appreciate you being tuned in. He said he couldn't stay, but he feels like Florida won the SEC coaching switches. I respectfully disagree, but absolutely has the potential to make it happen down in Florida. I'm not doubting them in any way, but I think right now, if you were to tell me to grade the coaching switches, that is not the school I'd put at number one. But I may put them above Lincoln. I don't see how that's going to work out in LSU. But regardless, back to the Vanderbilt game. I think my next reaction to this game is as a fan sitting in the stands, watching everybody leave in the fourth quarter. How Tim Banks didn't get fired that night, I was like puzzled because I kind of thought that this was like a no-brainer at that point. Like, okay, he's got to go. However, you sleep on it, and I'm not saying that I'm making excuses. There are a lot of things that happened over the course of the season that I think led to this. And you do also have to just remember that literally, factually, we are the youngest team in the SEC. Now, I still think Tim Banks is very much deserves a lot of this credit because the lack of adaptivity or adaptation to what's going on and the lack of changes in the coaches' adjustments, it just wasn't there. Man, I don't understand why you can't just spy a quarterback. It's a very common concept in the game that a lot of people do and that we never did in this game. I don't understand why we didn't do it. But I think that it really hurt my soul. But then like me now sitting back at it, I'm like, okay, you see a lot of these colleges make emotional decisions, not smart decisions, emotional decisions. And you see how it doesn't work out. So I don't think I fault Josh Heupel or Tennessee right now for just immediately firing Tim Banks because of this outcome. And perhaps maybe that will end up happening, but at least it'll be on a smart level, or maybe they already have a guy lined up or whatever. But as of right now, you did just come off the season where you only got to the playoff because of Tim Banks' defense. That doesn't necessarily mean you get to have a down year, but I don't know. Maybe I'm willing to give him a little bit of a leash because of that. I don't know, but like that is my next initial reaction was like this defense. Historically, after the offseason, when I was telling you that I thought that this would be one of our best defenses in the nation, that's also when I thought we had Jamal McCoy, Ricky Gibson, our linebackers. Boo Carter, I thought would have been a lot better this year than what he ended up being. But regardless, statistically, you're one of the worst. So take that with what you will. I don't know.
I had the exact same thoughts about Tim Banks immediately after the game. Should have been fired, literally.
This is another great point by Rhonda, by the way. Firing any coach before signing day
100%
is very risky. I mean, look at Penn State right now.
Penn State is in a world of hurt right now.
What is the ranking right now? After signing day, what was the ranking?
Last that I saw, they were like 70th out of 135 schools, and that's actually saying something that they're in the middle of the pack.
I'm actually going to keep this comment here for just a second. He will do it again. Oh. Yeah, what if Kalen
yeah.
DeBoer doesn't make the playoff next year?
Ooh. Because listen. Let's talk briefly about this, because if Alabama had gotten beat by Auburn, do you think all of this flips around? DeBoer gets fired and Kiffin goes to Bama? I think so.
I think Lane Kiffin's dream job is Alabama. He just needs the dominoes to fall in place. I think LSU is just a good fallback plan for him. I don't know. Yes, but I like that comment there. Rhonda says 150. So are they? I know there's only 136, I think, Division I FBS teams. So they're not even in the top 136. They're behind Division II schools. Is that what I'm hearing?
Sounds like it.
Penn State. And that's exactly why. That's exactly why you don't just go through firing. Look, here's another reason. Josh Heupel just signed his best class. Top 10 in the nation, 7th in the nation right now. There's still one player that's kind of being weird. It's Legend Bay. We'll talk about that here in a second. But like overall, you just signed your best class. If you go and fire Tim Banks after an emotional game like this one where you just looked abysmal, who knows how many recruits on the defensive side of the ball, which is where you need the help, drop out. And then you don't even have enough time to go recruit for signing day to kind of make up for that difference. And at that point, you're just relying on the portal. And so I don't know. I think it is smart of Josh Heupel to not fire anybody before that signing day. I think Rhonda makes a great point there. Thank you so much for commenting on the stream and being here live with us. But yeah, I don't know. I think my next initial reaction to this game is, man, it is so crucial to get the first down on offense.
Mm-hmm.
If your offense goes 3 and out, and it's been like that really since Josh Heupel's been here, but when you go 3 and out, your offense relies on momentum and staying hot. I mean, it's kind of like a basketball team. And when you can't get into that rhythm, it is so hard to get back into that gear. And that's what you've seen in the second half here with Tennessee is you just never got to see the offense get back in gear. You had a 7-minute drive by Vanderbilt to start the half. You go 3 and out. I think Vanderbilt paired that back up with another long drive that took it down to like 3.5 minutes to go in the half. Tennessee, with like 3 minutes left to go in the third quarter, had ran 3 plays.
Yeah, and you were down 14, and it was almost the fourth quarter.
And at that point, you're in pass-heavy mode. I mean, nobody in the game keys to win against Vanderbilt, nobody wanted Joey Aguilar to throw it 40 times, and that's what he ended up having to do.
And as much as I hate to give Vanderbilt credit, I've got to give them credit for one thing. When they got Tennessee down, that's when they said, okay, we're bringing the house every single play.
They took
Tennessee did not have an answer for it.
They did. Is that not what Florida did? What game was we watching? I was like, man, they're blitzing every play. It's just a matter of if you could take what the check down was. Maybe it was Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma did the same thing where that's the key. You bring 6 to 7 people, 6 to 7 people every play, and you make Joey Aguilar make that quick decision.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest with you, as much as I love Joey, I don't think he made the correct decision. There was plenty of plays that were wide open, but you could almost tell that wasn't the hot route. That wasn't where the play was supposed to go. And in a quick decision where you got to get the ball out in 2 seconds, he just couldn't make that correct decision. And, credit to Vanderbilt. Huge win for them on the road. But now I kind of brought this up last week. I'm going to bring it up again because it's now a real thing. Last week, I kind of was like, I tried to stay positive because I could see this scenario playing out, unfortunately. And I just don't think Tennessee's as good as I wanted them to be this year as much as I wanted it. But I kind of hinted at what if Vanderbilt goes in and beats Tennessee at home, right? Or on the road for Vanderbilt. But they go into Neyland and get the win. Would they make the playoff? And I did not think they would even with the win here. And it's looking like that. And if I'm a Vanderbilt fan sitting here tonight, there's a lot of noise going around that program. There's a lot of reports coming out that obviously they're desperate. They were willing to play another game, I think, just to showcase why they deserve to be in the playoff. But unfortunately, this year is a lot different than last year. Last year, you really just had to go 10-2 because every team was knocking off each other. You had upsets galore everywhere. This year, unfortunately, not that. You had a lot of teams win. You didn't really have a ton of upsets, or at least upsets that meant anything. And so Texas and Vanderbilt are kind of in the same situation, but more so Vanderbilt. I don't understand why Texas jumped Vanderbilt. I get it. They had a better win, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. But overall, they still had the worst loss out of any team in the top 15. But if I'm a Vanderbilt fan today, I'm pretty pissed off about what the committee's doing and how they're so inconsistent and their rankings. But Vanderbilt now 10-2. I think it is the best season they've ever had in program history.
Oh yeah, it's the very first 10-win regular season that they've had in program history. So
and
100%.
they're making big moves. So I hate to make it sound like that you don't know if a team's going to ever make it back here. But like for Vanderbilt fans, that's got to be the expectation, right? Like you don't know if you're ever going to be back in this spot, in this situation. Obviously, it's Pavia's last year. It sucks that they're not going to be able to at least have a run at it for them. And I don't know. I hate it for them. It sucks, but I seriously don't see a way they could get in at this point.
You know what? I'm not going to be the positive guy. I'm glad Vanderbilt's not getting in. I'm glad Little Brother's
Why are you
not
glad
doing
about it? I mean, like, why? Like, is it just because you hate that they came in here and beat the brakes off of us?
Yes, 100%.
Because that's not the reason why I would say I hate that they're not getting in. My reasoning is solely for the fact, man, it comes from you could say it's a sore loser thing, but I just hate how Pavia is all about himself. Like, I was always raised that, like, if you do good, let other people talk about you. Don't be the person that has to pipe up yourself. And I feel like Pavia is very much me, like the Heisman campaign. Like, dude, you are good, but you almost like he's top of the I guess Heisman odds now. But I feel like he'd have been there a lot sooner if he'd have just shut up and let other people talk about him instead of himself. And so like that's the hate I have. But then again, like all the talk that he's done in the offseason, I mean, for the most part, they backed it up. I mean, the only two losses they have on the year is what, Alabama and
Alabama and Texas.
Texas. I mean, those are two top 15 wins currently. And they didn't have that letdown spot, in my opinion, man. They pretty much beat all the teams that they were expected to beat and not expected to beat. I mean, they beat South Carolina when they were ranked 11th at the time. Now, granted, that was week 3 of the year. They beat a top 10 ranked LSU at the time when they played each other at the year. And you can say what you want about that game, but that was mid-October. I mean.
And they did. They went down to Baton Rouge and they beat LSU.
They did.
It wasn't a fluke.
I mean, the final score only says by a touchdown, but I mean, for the most part, they controlled that game, in my opinion. Now, it was a tight game, kind of back and forth there for a little bit, but I felt like Vanderbilt handled it. I mean, in my opinion, they turned around, beat a top 15 Missouri that we were all kind of high on. Now, granted, it was because they're scheduling, but overall, before I think the quarterback got hurt around that time for Missouri, but
it was during the game. He got hurt against Vanderbilt?
Yep. But I mean, you had a pretty tough gauntlet right there between Alabama, LSU, Missouri, Texas, 4 games in a row. And I don't know. You go 2-2 in that stretch, and you finish out the season with 3 straight games of 45 points each against Auburn, Kentucky, and Tennessee. I mean, that's crazy. For Vanderbilt, they're hitting the stride, right? They got hot. This is a time that you want to get hot, and it doesn't look like – I mean, it looks like they're going to be playing Michigan in a bowl game or something like that. I don't know. But overall, Tennessee falls to Vanderbilt, falls to 8-4. We said that this was the floor for Tennessee, I think, or maybe we said 7-5 was the floor. But either way,
7-5 was the absolute floor.
Either way, I think we both predicted Tennessee go 9-3. I had the opportunity to do that, and
I actually had them 10-2. I was high on Tennessee.
Did you? Yeah, right on. So I mean, either way, it's just a sour way to end the year. I hope we get a really good bowl opponent, and we kind of help make up for this, because I'm telling you right now, this definitely felt like a Butch Jones-ish outcome. Result.
Please, dear God, do not give us Iowa in a bowl game again.
Right.
Give us somebody fun.
That's right.
Please.
That's right.
Yeah, but, I mean, ultimately, you had a good season this year. Did it end, like you said, on a sour note? Absolutely. But there was a lot of highs, a lot of good things that we can take away from this year, but also a lot of things that we really need to work on in the coming years. And you said it. Heupel is not going to use this as an excuse. But Tennessee did have the youngest team in the entire SEC this year. What is it? 49.5, 44.5, something like that?
49 point something percent of our roster was freshmen, true freshmen, or redshirt freshmen.
Yes.
So that doesn't even count the 2-year starters, like that were sophomores, true sophomores.
And then another 20-something percent was sophomores.
Yep.
You only had 2.
You had like 8% that were seniors.
I think it was 2.6% was graduates.
Yeah.
So
10% of your roster were senior or graduate.
And then when you flip the script and you go over to Vanderbilt, they have one of the oldest rosters.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Logan.
He was talking to me. No, I'm joking. He's
probably. I mean, with that sweater on. Yeah.
Rhonda's makes a great point. Blake in the chat, man. We appreciate y'all being tuned in. Please, again, subscribe if you haven't done so. We are trying to push for 500, and we're at 469. So nobody cares about bowl games, and
I'm going to respectively disagree with this.
1,000%. Because if you're a true not even Tennessee, but if you're just a true football fan, you want to see your team play regardless, right?
And especially a team like Tennessee's got. We're just talking about how young Tennessee is. So
you want to see that preview, that orange and white game before the orange and white game, right?
How many of these guys are coming back next season? The majority of them probably are. Now, you're going to have some of them enter the portal, but the majority of these young guys are coming back next season. So you want to see these guys go out there and have some pride about themselves leading into next season. So I'm going to respectively disagree with that. Now, is it going to lose a little bit of its luster if we play a team like that, like Iowa or Northwestern or somebody like that? Yeah, it will a little bit. Give me a fun team to play, like let's say Georgia Tech. Let's play Georgia Tech in a bowl game.
I actually don't want to play Georgia Tech in a bowl game. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, a team like that.
I don't like Haynes King, bro. He'll beat anybody.
That's why I'm glad we're getting Georgia Tech next year without Haynes King. So,
right.
But play a team like that. I'd be fine playing a team like Michigan. Somebody that's at least going to be a big
unathletic quarterback. Let's get a team with an unathletic quarterback, please. Can we? It's fine. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. I understand your point though, 100%.
Yeah, but let's go back to this comment here by Blake. So
yes, I was
Blake
about to bring it up.
Kirby year 5 wins the national championship. Heupel goes 8-4. Yes, 100%. But it's two totally different circumstances.
Kirby took over SEC East winning program.
Yeah. Heupel took over a program that was in the bottom of the barrel, like literally bottom of the
NCAA
SEC.
sanctions roster.
And they're still suffering from some of these roster.
They're only in year 3 of that. Everybody thinks that we're still not having to pay the price on that. Like we're only in, I think this is year 4 now in his recruiting classes that they've still had to take a scholarship reduction on his roster. So I mean, it's
now also to Blake's point here. I do feel like that because we've seen success from Josh Heupel in Tennessee over these first couple of years, Tennessee fans should absolutely be expecting more each and every year. You should be expecting at least a 10-win season, competing for the playoffs every single year. So in that case, I agree with that. But you still got to look at the big picture overall as to where Heupel started whenever he took over this program and where we're at right now.
Matt brings up one of the best points of the night where he said, look, bowl games add a lot of extra practices, which they do. If you don't make a bowl game, you literally cannot practice during this time of year. But they add a lot of extra practices, and you get the early enrollees a head start. It's a big deal for the youngins, especially like remember like some of the bowl games that we got to play, even the playoff game, you got to bring in your early enrollees, and they could actually be on the sideline at those games. Now, they couldn't suit up, but they could wear a jersey and like a hoodie or something and be there and then see that environment. And dude, that is so key for a lot of these kids. And so I mean, great point there, Matt. We appreciate you being here as well. Blake says, look, he understands, still frustrating. And you're not wrong.
I completely
It is very
agree.
Frustrating. But I got to tell you, 8-4 sucks. That used to be our ceiling for 15 years, guys. Like we went 8-4, and this is our floor. This is after we just lost our what would have been returning quarterback, what should have been a great year. And I don't know. I just think you still got to give Heupel some credit there.
Yeah, 100%. And then
this isn't the same Vanderbilt, guys. Like you unplug from that. I mean, we're talking about a Vanderbilt team that just flipped a 5-star quarterback from Georgia. We're talking about Clark Lee, who turned down a Penn State deal to stay at Vanderbilt.
A 6-year extension.
He values Vanderbilt more than Penn State. This is not the same Vanderbilt team, guys. Vanderbilt's here to stay, and I'm actually for it. If you got the 3 permanent opponents, and you had a lot of loser Tennessee fans saying, "Yes, we got 2 easy opponents in Kentucky and Vanderbilt. Well, we won that, buddy." That's not what you should want. If you want that national championship run, you want to know that you beat the best teams to get there. And I'm okay with Vanderbilt getting good. Like, I don't want them to beat Tennessee every year. But by God, when we play them at the end of the year, I want them to be a top 10 team ranked. That way, when we beat them, if we beat them, it will look even better at the end of the year. So I don't know. It's just it's a gut-wrenching loss. This sucks. Emotionally, I was pissed off because I only went to 2 games in Neyland this year. Went 0-2. Oklahoma and Vanderbilt. Don't regret going. And funny enough, we went 1-0 in the road game that I went to, which was Kentucky. So, yeah, and we beat the brakes off.
That's technically Neyland North. So,
yeah. But overall, man, I do think changes are necessary here in this offseason. But I have kind of backed off the Fire Tim Banks bandwagon because he did just come off a season where we literally only got to the playoff because of his defense. So it's like maybe it is personnel. Maybe it was some unluckiness. But we do have to figure out how to make some changes at halftime or during the game and not allow a running quarterback to do exactly what Diego Pavia did to us.
Yeah. Andre's comment here, I don't think that T-Lander had a good year this year.
He did not.
But I'm not going to say get rid of him because
if we're talking about
all the talent in the world.
If we're talking about a player or players that messed up a Tim Banks defense, it's your safeties. It's Andre Turntine.
Thank God he's gone.
Andre Turntine.
Let me just say that.
Andre Turntine, that's another initial reaction. I'm glad he actually brought this up. Vanderbilt. Turntine probably was our leading tackler in this game.
He was. He had 10 tackles. He was our leading
He's
tackler.
also our leading missed tackler in this game. But that shows me 2 things. 1, that man's scared of contact. 2, the runner should never be getting to the 3rd level that often.
When when a secondary player is
the leading tackler, that's a problem.
You've got issues.
That is because it wasn't because he was coming up and filling the gap. Okay. No. In fact, if you watch a lot of these highlights or whatever, because it's Vanderbilt highlights, it's lowlights for Tennessee. He's actually kind of sitting on his heels and waiting to take the contact. Terrible. Holy missed tackles. I've never seen a player in like multiple consecutive plays miss tackles the way Andre Turntine did. Embarrassing. Got to be better. Yeah. You're the senior of this defense, and I understand that you've not been the best, and that's why you had Willie Brooks, which, by the way, probably one of your best safeties in the Tim Banks era. As a non-scholarship player, he probably was your best productive safety. But Andre Turntine did not live up to the expectation, in my opinion. To be an Ohio State transfer, clearly was a talented guy coming out of high school, just did not live up to expectation.
Yeah. So before we get to more of these comments, do we have anything else on Vanderbilt before we move ahead to kind of talking about some of these major things that we need to talk about? Because some of these comments,
let's talk about it because it's kind of leading us in, and we appreciate the comments, and let's keep it going. We have good momentum, but yes, let's go on to segment 2. I guess that's my cue then. Segment 2 is P&L Business Services. So we know firsthand that getting your monthly reporting, invoicing, bill pay, taxes, and other essential business services right is critical. That's why at P&L Business Services, we go beyond bookkeeping by providing you with everything you need in your back office so you can have your time back and the peace of mind to do what you love most, which is building your business. Behind every successful business is a great bookkeeper. Guys, again, located right here in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. If you are a entrepreneur or anything like that is doing kicking butt right there in customer service and doing your job, doing it great, but then you get back to the office and you got to do all the paperwork and it's just frustrating because it's stressing you out. You can't get back to the job. Well, just get online. Go pnlbusinessservices.com. Let them take over the payroll, everything paperwork-wise and taxes, accounting services, anything you need. Let them take that over so you can continue to focus on how you even got there in the first place, which is your customer service. P&L Business Services, again, right here in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. We appreciate your continued support. And so, yeah, major thoughts. Michael, and we do have some more comments in the chat. I don't know where do you want to take it. We got Blake says, do you think Rodney Gardner stays? Absolutely. 1,000%.
I think he does. Yeah.
1,000%.
I feel like, and I could be completely wrong with this, but I feel like Rodney Garner at the point that he's at in his career, he's probably satisfied with where he's at. Now, maybe he wants to be a defensive coordinator somewhere, but I feel like it's going to take a major program to say, hey, Rodney Garner, will you come be our defensive coordinator, for him to leave this Tennessee staff? I just feel like he's at that point in his career that he's not going to leave Tennessee to go somewhere else unless it's for a huge promotion like that.
Yeah. Andre comes in here and says, why don't they turn wide receivers into cornerback no more? And I'm going to say I think they have. That's what Boo Carter kind of was. Boo Carter in high school was obviously a two-way player, but I think he wanted to be a wide receiver, but they seen that our wide receiver room was kind of fine. I mean, and anyway, it was. And so they thought that he'd be more productive on the defense side of the ball, and that's exactly what they did. Now, that didn't pan out, but to your credit, yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily know. I think Legend Bay could be one of those players if he were to get here on campus and actually want to stay here. We'll talk about that here in, I guess, just a second. But I think that would be another one where he's a quarterback in his high school and a wide receiver, running back. I mean, obviously, when you're that talented, you play wherever you can at your high school to give yourself the best chance to win.
And that's why he's coming in as an athlete. He's not listed at a position. He's listed as an athlete.
And to that point, but like you've seen not too long ago under the previous coaching staff, Jeremy Banks was a running back, but had a fumbling problem. So he actually he became a linebacker. Ended up being one of our best linebackers. In fact, believe he was our best linebacker in the Heupel first year, 2021-22. Jeremy Banks was like one of your best. Obviously, I ain't going to talk about that too much because the one game he missed ended up being probably the most consequential game in the Heupel era. But yeah.
But let's go back to Blake's comment here where he says, I don't want Heupel fired. I want to say that first, but if things turn south really fast this coming year, would he get fired? So I do think that if you see a regression this coming season,
are we talking like losing record in the SEC? Or are we talking like 6-6? Are we talking
I'm talking maybe even another 8-4 season.
Just another
I'll go as low as 7-5.
Okay.
But if we see
clearly a disappointment regardless, right? Like
if we see another 7-5, 8-4 season next year, with all the talent that we've got on the roster, coming off of the best recruiting class that he's had so far. You're coming off of last season having, what was it, a top 15 class? This year, right now, it's a top 10 class. If you got back-to-back top classes like that, and you're going on back-to-back 8-4 seasons, yeah, that seat's starting to get really hot. If not, hey, Heupel, you might be out the door type of deal. So now, I also want to say this. I don't think that's going to happen because this is honestly the first season since Heupel has been in Knoxville that he has not overachieved. Now, he did not underachieve because how many of us at the beginning of the season said this is an 8-4, 9-3 football team?
Yeah.
The majority
you didn't even know what you had at quarterback.
Yeah. Now, I was being highly optimistic as a Tennessee fan, looking at what Joey Aguilar had done at previous stops, saying, I'm going to go ahead and go 10-2 because I think that Tennessee can beat all but two of these programs. And I said that it was Georgia and Florida. Now, obviously, I was wrong. Ended up being Georgia and Alabama. Obviously, Vanderbilt turned out to be what they were, and Oklahoma did what they did to you. I still think Tennessee was better than a couple of the programs that they ended up getting beat by this year. It was just mistakes that Tennessee made along the way that caused that. But history with Heupel at Tennessee tells us that this is a one-off. I don't see Heupel underachieving or flatlining a second year in a row. I think that we're going to have another overachieving year next year where he at least meets expectations. But this is the first year at Tennessee that he has not exceeded expectations. He met them. He didn't underachieve. He just didn't overachieve this year.
Yep. We're going to do rapid fire because, man, the chat box is popping. I appreciate you guys. Matt says Legend Bay. Just replace the Y and the E there. Legend Bay, if you're paying attention to signing day yesterday, Legend Bay had been committed to your program since November, but then actually flipped his recruitment to Ohio State until signing day. He then flipped back to Tennessee as an athlete, 4-star athlete. Think that he could be a key piece of this recruiting class that probably wouldn't see next year, maybe on the defensive side of the ball, but definitely in year 2, maybe 2027 season, you would definitely see him be a key playmaker. But there's a lot of underlying stories with him. And does he really actually want to be at Tennessee, or did his parents want that blessing, or basically didn't want him to go to Ohio State? I don't know. There's a lot going on with that story, a lot of uncertainty, and we just kind of hope that he doesn't enter the transfer portal in the winter when he turns 18 to where I say in the winter, in January, when he turns 18 and can actually sign off, because right now he's 17. So he had to have his parents sign off on the letter of intent. And that's why a lot of reports are saying that's why he went to Tennessee. Who knows? But Blake comes in saying beating Georgia, almost beating Georgia like 3 different times in the fourth quarter, changed everyone's expectations. 1,000%. That's a fact.
And if you look at our website, volfanatics.com, you will see an article that I wrote on there talking about how Tennessee is closing the gap between Georgia.
Look at the blue chip ratios.
Yes, but they're closing the gap between themselves and Georgia, themselves and Alabama, themselves and Ohio State. Now, is there still a gap? 100%. There is. But that gap is closing. Now, when you look at Tennessee's record this year, you're going to say, what are you talking about? Tennessee took a step back this year. Yes and no. Yes, they took a step back record-wise.
They didn't step back program-wise, and I think that's where you're going.
And that's where the step forward is that Tennessee is taking.
Yep.
Even though you took a step back record-wise this year, you still took a step forward as a program. So that gap is closing significantly. And 100% that almost beating Georgia there, that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah. Rhonda coming in says, 2 different sports. She understands that. But Vitello took how many years? That would be, I believe, 7 years to get his natty. Sometimes it takes time. Or it takes time sometimes. Yes. 100%. You're not wrong there. Again, Tony Vitello, it took him 7 years, and he took a program from the absolute worst of the worst. I mean, we're talking about a baseball team in the SEC that the tournament would take 12 teams to the SEC tournament in the SEC. All you had to do is come in the top 12 of 14. Tennessee's baseball team couldn't even do that. Couldn't even do that when Tony Vitello got there. And really, it took him 7 years to get the natty, but he went to the World Series in year 5, maybe? So, I mean, we're talking about Josh Heupel, who took this football program very similar, winless in the SEC program. He took them to the playoff in year 3. In year 4. Year 4. Sorry.
Now,
year 3 was Joe Milton.
Back up just a second, too, because you got to remember in year 2,
he was in the top 6, but it was a
4-team playoff.
Yep.
So if it would have been a 12-team year 2, you're talking about Tennessee in the college football playoffs.
And hosting a home playoff game. Like he would have been, yep.
And dang near ended up making the playoffs in a 4-team playoff that year. If it wasn't for the absolute just meltdown in Columbia, South Carolina, you're in the 4-team playoff in year 2.
That's right. But about the DC thing, Andre comes in here and says, wouldn't mind somebody from the Brent Venables coaching tree. I like his scheme. I think that you can't go wrong there, but I don't want to give up on Tim Banks. I think he's so crucial in the recruiting aspect that he had a bad year this year, yes, but he also just had one of your best years ever. And to the point to where Tennessee fans were afraid that he was about to take a head coaching job, but he still stayed. He still stayed home to help this team. Now, obviously, didn't turn out the way we all wanted it to, but I'm willing to give him another year. I am. I'm sitting here standing strong. It's an unpopular opinion, but I think I like Tim Banks.
So, on one hand, I'm kind of with you on that. I think that you got to look at the last 2 years that Tim Banks has had before this year. That defense, you went from having one of the worst defenses in college football to 2023. You had a pretty dang good defense. Last year, you had a top 10 defense that you rode all the way to the playoffs. And then this year, you take a big step back. Now, injuries had a lot to do with it. You had a lot of young guys playing this year. I get all that, but I'm also going to say this right here. Even in those good defensive years over the last 2 years, you've still seen a lot of issues in the middle part of that defense. You've got to get some, I'm going to specifically say safety help, but you've got to get some secondary help. There's got to be some major changes done to the middle part of that defense, because there's been way too many plays, even in the last 2 years, that you've given up over the middle of the field, especially on 3rd down and longs. You've got to clean those up. That's been a consistent thing. And that Vanderbilt game, there was a huge, huge issue with the play calling on defense from Tim Banks. I know that the offense also had their issues too, but you cannot give up 300 yards on the ground to Vanderbilt. You cannot give up 165 yards to a quarterback on the ground. That game alone almost wants me to say fire Tim Banks.
Yeah.
But then I also look at what they just brought in on the recruiting trail just yesterday. And you look at the guys talking about how they feel like they can fit this Tim Banks defense. You specifically had, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. We'll look at it once we get over to our recruiting segment here in just a minute. But you had a guy talk about how he loves Rodney Garner, and he feel like he fits this Tim Banks defense, that mold there. If we had fired Tim Banks as soon as that game was over with, who's to say we would have gotten him flipped? It was the guy from Alabama, if I'm not mistaken, that flipped from Alabama.
JJ, I don't know. Was he a defensive back? I don't know.
No,
JJ Finch?
Defensive end. Is
Oh,
what I'm
okay.
talking about.
My fault. I don't know.
So,
I don't have the list in front of me.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm on the fence, but here's what I will say. If you have another down year on defense
100%.
this year, you have to fire him.
I brought this comment
pretty
on.
much
Matt
what
said,
I'm
who are
saying.
we going to fire then? Something has to change after that Vandy loss.
I'm gonna go on record saying Joey Halzle.
I don't think that matters. I think Joey. I think
Josh
Heupel runs the offense. I think you need a new idea.
So
I do think you need maybe I don't know, like a.
So here's what I'm gonna get at here. I think that you need to fire Joey Halzle or demote him again back to just a quarterback's coach. You need to hire a good offensive coordinator that you trust to call plays, and Heupel needs to give up play calling.
Yeah, we're far enough in the program now in year 6 that he needs to let go of something. He's doing too much.
Because and here's some different examples that I'm going to point out here that have done this and have had success. Number one is last year, Ryan Day. He gave up play calling, and Ohio State finally got to the mountaintop, and they won the national championship.
He also had Chip Kelly as his OC.
Yes, 100%.
I mean, he went and got a head coach. I don't know if Josh Heupel can pull that, but maybe. I don't know.
Maybe not, but still, if you get a guy that you know, that you trust, that you can go out there and trust to call plays and run your offense, then you need to give up the play calling. You also look at Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin gave up play calling, and he led that Ole Miss program to the playoffs this year. Now, unfortunately, he's not going to get to coaching that because of all the different stuff that's going on.
That ain't no unfortunately. He did that kind of to himself, along with the calendar of college football.
Yes, true. All right, but another example, Eli Drinkwitz. He gave up play calling. Now, granted, has he made the playoffs? No. But he's also won 8 to 9 games or more since he gave up play calling duties. Clark Lee at Vanderbilt gave up play calling after they went 2-10 2 seasons ago. Last year they went, 7-6, 6-7.
Almost every example, it's only gotten better. Maybe a down year initially, but at least it got better as that change happened. I agree with that.
Heupel needs to give up play calling. He needs to focus on the in-game metrics.
I'm gonna go. I would have serious conversation with Willie Martinez, the defensive backs coach. I think defensive backs has always been an issue at Tennessee, other than like a star player here and there. But overall, the room itself, defensive back, is always. The next one, and I'm only giving him a little bit of leeway because it's his first year, but William Inge. I think the linebackers in totality was a little down this year, but I like the promise in that room. I think Arion Carter, he's coming back again. I think
that's why I'm going to give some leeway.
You got Jaden Perlotti that's going to be stepping up big. Edwin Spillman's a dog. I think, so that room I think's okay, but overall defensively, it's defensive backs and not even like corners. Corners, I feel like we've been great. It's the safeties, man. The safeties position.
100%.
Obviously, you've had positions not work out the way you wanted it to. You've had transfers not, but like we got to get that room locked down. So Willie Martinez is the guy I'm having serious conversations with because all in all, I think you could be better in that room. That is the one place I think that's where I turn to.
Now, let's talk about a position group that you've got to lock down. And I've been hearing rumblings that they're trying their hardest to lock him down. You've got to keep Kelsey Pope. You've got to make sure he doesn't leave.
The tight end or the wide receivers?
The wide receivers coach. You've got to make sure you lock him down.
Blake comes in and says, does Tim Banks coach the defensive line or is that all Rodney? That's Rodney, man. I mean, Tim Banks is obviously going to be overseeing it. He's the defensive coordinator.
Yes, Tim
Rodney
Banks
Garner got that line group. He's got that.
Tim Banks is the CEO of the defense. Yeah. Rodney Garner is the main guy.
And I can tell you that from experience. I've been to a fall camp practice and Rodney Garner is I think the players would rather Tim Banks coach the defensive line because I tell you what, Rodney Garner is he's on them. Let's see. Let's go through real quick. I think Rhonda's correct. I think we underestimated Vandy. I think the players 100%. Thought Vandy was Vandy. Good there. Anyway, Jermon McCoy comes back. I do think so.
I'm going to say no.
He's not rated round 3 or better. If he goes to the goes to the pro day, and then he goes to the combine, and he just doesn't have the showing, doesn't have like his agent. His agent's going to have a lot of feel on this. But if he's not graded a third round or better, I do think actually, because he's going to make more money in college. So I do think there is a way, but I don't think we need to hope on it. And I think we need to rely on guys like Todd Redmond and Ricky Gibson to step up.
Yeah. So if we're gonna go with the hypothetical, is there a way? Yes, there's a way. I'm sitting here saying today on December the 4th, we will not see Jabob McCoy again in a Tennessee uniform.
Correct. This is a hard no. If Tennessee has a terrible year, would Kiffin jump ship from LSU to Tennessee? Absolutely not. Kiffin's never coming back to Tennessee.
No, he will not. Now, what I'll also say, if it got to the point where Heupel gets fired, I want Lane Kiffin back.
Yeah,
I'll take Lane Kiffin.
But I don't think he would. Period.
No, he would not come back.
Yeah, and we have another listener comment that said, "Heck no." But Andre, I think you hit the nail on the head here. I think we had 2 weak links: T-Lander, Turntine, Boo Carter.
That's the main one to me.
And Ty Redmond, let's be honest, he's one of my favorite players. But the first 6 weeks of the year, he was an absolute liability. But he's the only he's the only guy you had. So I had several weak links. I don't think it's just 2 people here. But I that's why I'm willing to give Tim Banks a little bit of a leash, because, man, you just had some situations come up this fall that are just unfortunate. It's part of football. You're supposed to be able to coach and make changes based on that. I do not feel like we've seen enough changes, especially in game. But again, I've seen this defense be at its best. I would love to have a year under Heupel where you have a good offense and a good defense. I don't know if that's just impossible to ask for, but it would be nice to have.
If you get a year where you have a top, I'm going to say a top 10 offense, and you've got a top 20 defense, Tennessee's winning the Natty. I'm just saying it.
Yeah, I agree. But you got any other major thoughts on the season in totality before we get on the picks?
No major thoughts on the season, but real quick before we get to picks, let's just talk a little bit about recruiting, about Tennessee's major class that we had signed yesterday, because good news from Tennessee. And sorry, I'm pulling up the wrong graphic here. All right.
We are live.
There we
go. No, so thank y'all guys for being tuned in and listening to us. Again, we're really pushing for 500 on YouTube. So guys, if y'all could do us a favor, just make sure and see if you're subscribed on the YouTube channel. Again, we are at 469, and we're just trying to push to 500, man. 500. That'd be nice to do.
Yeah. So the best news out of yesterday from Tennessee is every single person that was projected to sign with Tennessee did, except for one person, and that was Celestia Moa.
Yeah.
But that's only because we flipped Legend Bay. I'm almost positive that if we don't flip Legend Bay, that Celestia Moa still signs with Tennessee. Now, I do know Utah is making a late push, but I think that Legend Bay news really changed things.
I got to be honest with you. I can't believe Celestia ever actually committed to Tennessee. If y'all don't know his story, but his dad's a legacy legend player at Utah, and I mean he's from Utah, so I kind of surprised we even got that commitment. I'm not really high on hopes that he will flip back, but overall, you had that one that didn't, but then you turned around and flipped 3 in your favor, and that's huge.
So you flipped. Let's see. Going down the list here, because you had 28 people yesterday sign their letter of intent.
That's
obviously, number one on that list was 5-star Faison Brandon. You also got a 5-star number 1 wide receiver in the class, Tristan Keys.
TK, baby.
You got 5-star Gabriel Osinda. So you signed
offense.
5 stars. 3 5-stars.
David
yesterday.
Sanders, Gabriel Osinda. Let's go.
But then you go down to the 4 stars here. Listen to these defensive people that we got. We got 4-star linebacker TJ White signed. 4-star linebacker Braden Rouse.
See, signed. That's the win. That's the edge I know, because it wasn't. It was months ago, but we rattled off 2 of the top 5 linebackers in the nation, and I think White was one of them.
I believe it was those 2 right there.
Yeah. So I mean, and that was those commitments happened within a week apart. It was insane. So I think that is the Inge effect, Coach Inge effect, and I think that is going to be a good thing. That's why I'm not hard on Inge, even though we had a down year in the linebackers room. But William Martinez, did we make a splash on the defensive side of the ball? Defensive backs. Is there a guy on the list that you're looking at right now that is a splash recruit and, defensive back that could be a star, obviously?
So four
Legend Bay, but we
yeah,
don't even know if that's like guaranteed, really.
Yeah. So you got 4-star Zay Anderson from Greenville.
Hey,
He's a corner.
and they beat the brakes off of Anderson County
You got
in the playoff.
you got a high 3-star from Jackson Northside, Javante Smith, that signed at corner. Jawel Kumbe from Georgia, safety. KJ McLean. These are all 3-stars. But KJ McLean from New Jersey.
So essentially, you could get most of your defensive backs.
Now I do like this. I've seen a lot of
coach is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of film on this guy right here, and I know it's high school, but I'm very high on 3-star safety Luke Thompson from Franklin, Tennessee.
Yeah,
that was a big signee for them.
Right on.
But yeah, I'm trying to think. So the guys that ended up flipping yesterday, JJ Finch was one of them. That's the guy from Alabama.
Yep.
That was committed to Alabama. He picked up Alabama's hat and just tossed it across the room before picking up the Tennessee.
I normally don't like that type of behavior, but because it was a rival, I'll let it slide. It's fine.
Yeah, 100%. Let's see.
Especially on signing day, it's tough.
Was it this CJ Edwards that was originally committed to Texas A&M that flipped? Is that who I'm thinking of?
Buddy, I don't know. You're looking at it. I'm not bad for radio. It's fine.
I can't remember, but ultimately yesterday, Tennessee signed 28 people. Obviously, we're talking about Legend Bay, kind of a little bit of shakiness there. Is he going to stay? Is he going to enter the transfer portal once he turns 18? That type of deal. But Tennessee right now is sitting at number 7 overall, according to GoVols 247 in the 26 class.
It was Jordan Carter that was previously committed to Texas A&M. He's the edge.
There
so another edge player. And then so Jordan Carter, and then you had obviously JJ Finch we talked about, which is a defensive line, which we need that middle interior defensive lineman.
Yeah, both of those guys defensive linemen.
Yep. And then was there any more? There was one more that I'm missing. That maybe it was Legend Bay. I think there was another one though. I thought there was another key flip that we had.
I feel like there was another one last week from like South Carolina or from Georgia, something like that we flipped. But
Carter Good is it Carter? It's Carter Gooden, ain't it?
I think
from UCLA, 4-star defensive line.
It was. Yes, it was. Yeah, that's right. It was
Carter Gooden. So another 4-star. Again, guys, this is Heupel's best class. This is why I'm really in high hopes. Heupel's classes have continued to get better, and we have now cracked the top 10. I think we're ranked 7th nationally right now, and I think 3rd in the SEC. But you talk about blue chip ratio, the 4 or 5 stars versus the 3 stars and lower. This class, I think we signed 3 5-stars according to 247 and 14 4-stars. That's 17 players blue chipped versus I think the 11 3-stars we signed. That's the first time I think we've had more blue chip players signed than not.
Yeah, so half of your class right now that is signed is blue chip prospects.
Yep. So
that's a lot to be excited about going into next season, and then we're not even gonna talk about the projected wide receiver room from next year for next year, which is stacked.
It's gonna be insane. Yeah, Andre, this is what I'm asking for though. Martinez needs to do better recruiting. Fact. When you have injuries, it's supposed to be next guy up. And for the most part, yes, Tyler Edmond did step up. He's a true freshman. We should have had a sophomore. We should have had a junior ready to go in that could have handled that moment, and we didn't. Even after we went in the portal and got Colton Hood, we still didn't have that depth there. So, yeah, I mean, I would like for Martinez to have some better signees from the high school ranks. And
yeah. I'm not even going to talk about Redmond, though. I'm going to talk about the fact that you've got a redshirt senior in Andre Turrentine that is god awful. By the way,
safety's got to be better.
And that's
Idris Farouk, another true freshman, played really well as the season went as well. But you got to have somebody else, man. Got to have somebody with
Farouk. You could tell the talent that Idris Farouk has got, which is why I was so high on him at the beginning of the season. But you can tell how raw he is.
But at that point, you're talking about a secondary that 2 or 3 of your defensive backs are true freshmen, and then your senior that's supposed to be the guy is probably playing I don't know, the least promising, I guess is the best way I could put it. I don't know. I think I like Tim Banks. I'm not the kind of guy that wants to just go through and fire everybody. And I'll be honest with you, it's because of what we've been through, my childhood and growing up, and we just fire and fire and fire, and we just kind of get into the cycle. And I'm kind of liking the fact that we have some stability in this coaching staff. And I don't want to go through and do the emotional thing and just fire people and not even have a plan to fix it at Penn State. And so, like, I'd like to give the guy a chance a little bit. I love the loyalty that Josh Heupel has. I don't want that to be what breaks the walls from within, if that makes sense. But at the end of the day, it's a sour loss. We're all sad. It's not a way you want to go into Christmas season and you're having to taste this loss in your mouth. But like you are, I mean, as a hater of Vanderbilt, you can at least smile knowing that they're not going to the playoffs. So you.
100%. Yeah, but let's go ahead.
Recruiting class is solid though.
Yeah,
you gotta tip your hat to the coaching staff.
Absolutely, man. But let's go ahead. Let's get into some picks. We got conference championship picks to make. But before we do that, I'm going to give you our segment 3 sponsor, which is Kaizen Painting.
Yep.
Do you want a colorful life? Kaizen is a painting and drywall company that provides residential, commercial, exterior, and interior services. At Kaizen Painting, we understand the importance of a beautifully painted home and properly installed and repaired drywall. We're here to bring your vision to life. We care about providing you with a personalized, efficient, and quality service. If you live in Knoxville and surroundings, contact us for a free estimate at kaizenpainting.com. Color your life the Kaizen way. So let me get this graphic pulled up. This one taking off. And once again, guys, appreciate all the comments that you left us during those first 2 segments. Continue to comment throughout the show. As Skylar said, please.
Make the picks with us.
Yeah, make picks with us, like, share, comment, as well as give us a follow if you haven't already, because, we're not going to send out a bunch of, notifications, a bunch of, spam things.
Nope. Don't sign you up for anything.
All it does is help us out. It's completely free. It just helps us out, gets us out to more people.
Our sponsors that help us out, they see it, they want to pour into it and invest into us, and with you guys' subscriptions, that helps us out, get their name out there as well, hopefully generate some business for them. So
yeah, absolutely. So the games that we're picking this weekend, these are all games that have something to do with the college football playoffs. That have some sort of implications. First one here, this is on Friday night, 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. It is Troy going up against James Madison, and James Madison is a 22.5 point favorite.
Yeah, I mean, James Madison wins this one, right?
They win this one, but I kind of want to pick against the spread because I'm taking Troy to cover. I think that 22.5 is too much.
Are we doing that? It probably is. And I know this spread has gotten a lot closer, so I probably don't need to do this just to be different than you, but I'm going to. So give me JMU to cover.
JMU covers, and that's a great pick just because JMU has just dominated most of the teams that they have played.
They're 11-1, man.
Yeah,
they're the reason why them, Tulane, North Texas, like they're all the reason why that ACC may not get a team in the playoff.
Yeah, 100%. But something just tells me that with it being conference championship weekend, this game is going to be a little bit more tight. Yeah. So I do think that JMU wins, but I think the Troy covers in this contest.
Right. So, and this will be Friday, December 5th, right? Yep, you said that.
Yes. Yeah, so next game, this is also on Friday night, and I do apologize. The only ABC logo that I have is the SEC on ABC one, because that's most of what we get. So that's why it doesn't just say ABC on there. But this is also Friday night, 8 o'clock Eastern, North Texas going up against Tulane. Odds are the winner of this game would end up getting in if Virginia was to lose, just because North Texas ranked 24, Tulane ranked 20, and James Madison is at 25. So odds are whoever wins this game will likely end up being that
final conference,
fifth team. And then if James Madison wins and Virginia loses, then you're looking at the ACC getting completely left out.
Yeah, this is if Duke upsets Virginia in the ACC championship. Yep, which Virginia is only a 4-point favorite, so that's kind of likely. I think I like North Texas in this game. Tulane, by the way, their head coach just took a job in the SEC. We didn't touch too much on that. I think we might hear in a little bit, but is it John Summerall? Who's it? Is
John Summerall ended up going to Florida.
Yep. So are they going to be locked in? I don't know. They probably will be just because it's their last hoorah with their coach. But give me North Texas. They've looked pretty good all year.
So I'm going to take Tulane in this one.
I figured.
I think that, because, all right, here's the question. Is Summerall coaching in this game? Because I have not seen if he is or not.
Summerall is finishing out with Tulane,
Okay.
from what I've heard.
So I think that Tulane rallies around their coach, and I think they go out and they win this one. They make the playoffs.
Rallies around the coach, just leaving them?
Kind of send him out, in the right way.
I mean, this is a lot different situation, right? I mean, Tulane to Florida is a lot bigger of a jump than
yes, 100%.
It's not like he's going to North Texas.
And the fact that he's going to stick around and coach this game even after taking that, I know the Lane Kiffin situation is different. I'm not taking a shot at Kiffin for that. That's totally different. But the fact that he's sticking around and he's going to coach this team, in this conference championship game, I think that says wonders for him as a coach, as a person. So give me Tulane to win this game.
All right, dude. It's going to be another crazy week, it looks like.
So
I know the next one's probably going to be Saturday, December 6th. It's going to be BYU, Texas Tech. That is the Big 12 championship. It's at noon on the ABC as well. This is played in Arlington in Dallas's stadium, Arlington. Let's see. Texas Tech did beat them earlier in the year, kind of handedly. They are currently, I think, a 12 and a half, 13?
12 and a half.
Yeah, point favorite on Action 247. I'm taking Texas Tech here. I don't think BYU.
Give me Texas Tech to win and cover.
Okay, yeah, I'm not doing the cover thing on this one because it's not a big enough spread for me to want to do it. But, yeah, Texas Tech can't lose this game. It gets weird if Texas Tech loses this game.
Yeah, 100%. Now here's what I will say.
It gets weird.
I think if Texas Tech loses, especially if it's close, I think that both BYU and Texas Tech get in. I think Texas Tech is high enough that they would be an at-large team.
No, I mean, I agree with that, but then it just gets weirder on the committee. Then we're talking like a 3-loss Bama team may not be in. I don't know. It gets weird. It gets weird. The committee's already screwed themselves up, so I don't mind. I kind of like to see it burn because we're not in it. So hell, yeah, let's see all the chaos happen. But in fact, you know what? I want BYU to win. No, I'm joking.
You know what? I'm going to be Brian Rice right here from the Sports Animal. I'm rooting for chaos.
That's right. That's right. Like, I want to hear them explain why they made a decision because I don't know if y'all listened to the explanation on why Alabama jumped Notre Dame last week, but Tuesday night when they were explaining that, he literally was bragging about how Alabama jumped out to a 17-0 lead against Auburn. And then the gutsy call to go for it on 4th down to get the touch. And I'm like, that's why they deserve to jump over Notre Dame. Not just because they have a better resume or anything. No, you chose because you're trying to give us a play-by-play breakdown on how they beat Auburn, even though they gave up the 17-0 lead. I don't know. Like, nothing about that made sense to me. So, yeah, I'm here for all the chaos. But, yeah, Texas Tech to win. I think they're a better team overall.
Yeah, I agree with you. So, next game, it is the SEC championship game in Atlanta. It's Georgia. It's Alabama. Georgia, a 2.5-point favorite. And so real
this
talk
is a funny
here.
one. This is a funny one.
Real talk here before we make our picks. Were you disappointed that it was Georgia and Alabama going up against each other again?
I don't think I'm disappointed. I'm more like amazed that these two teams keep finding a way to do it. I think it's actually fascinating with all the changes, with the growth in the conference, but the schedule changes and all that. And now that these two teams are playing each other in season, and like they still find a way to make it to the championship game. Just kudos to the coaching staffs there. To me, it's annoying because at the end of the year, a lot of the talking heads that think they know ball just obviously picked the two favorites in the offseason and ended up being that. I hate other than Texas. Texas is one of the favorites, but it is annoying in that, right? But I'm more amazed that these teams just continue to find a way, regardless of the doubts that we have. Because Georgia, I mean, I had doubts about Georgia this year, and they continue to prove me wrong. So, this game in particular.
And let's go back to week 5 in the regular season whenever Alabama beat Georgia.
Georgia has an Alabama problem.
100%.
Except in the SEC championship. Give me Georgia.
This is where I'm going to disagree with you.
That's fine. I don't care.
I think that Georgia also has an Alabama problem. I'll agree with you on that.
They do. 100%. Oh, no. Georgia, and I even lied. Georgia actually has an Alabama problem, even in the SEC championship. I think that they beat Alabama in the playoffs, didn't they?
And that is where
Or do I
I'm
have
going.
it flipped? I can't remember. Oh my
No,
god.
that's where I'm going. I'm going with they also have a problem. They also have an Alabama problem
I
in the
can't
SEC
remember.
title game. This
I was
isn't the
thinking
national.
Georgia won in the title game in the SEC, but then like they lost.
Let's-
No.
let's
I
see.
can't remember. It was
Georgia
the year where they
versus-
benched Jalen Hurts and they came back and won the game. I think that was in the SEC championship game, right? Or was that the playoff? I can't remember. Dude, this is bothering me.
So I'm about to look it up here.
Look it up for me, please. This is bad for radio, but maybe the commenters, maybe chat can help us out, man. I don't know. I was so confident thinking that Georgia was winning this game, and I'm gonna stick with it. But
all right, so last
look for like
let's
early
see.
December matchup.
All right, so December 2023 SEC title game, Alabama won. All right, national title game in 2022, Georgia beat Alabama.
That's right. Yep, that's what I was thinking of. So
All
it
right.
is the SEC championship.
So yes,
Alabama still owns it.
This is where I'm going. Georgia has an Alabama problem, including in the SEC title game.
They do. The only
So
time
give
Georgia's
me
been able to beat
Alabama.
Alabama was the national title game.
in 22. So give me Alabama to win this game
God.
outright.
I think I like that pick now. God dang it. It's fine. Give me Georgia. They're underdog. They're not even underdogs. God dang. Dang it, dude. I don't like this pick. You probably won that one. That's fine. Give me the under.
No, but yeah, I might agree.
I got
with
Jake
you
to
on
laugh.
that one.
The listeners, and if you're watching live, you can't see Jake, but I just made Jake laugh, so that's a win for me.
I think I might agree with you on that.
I think that
one.
might be one of his best bets. So I mean, maybe that's why he laughed.
You know, it might be, but yeah, I've got Alabama. You got Georgia. Now, so next game, it's the Big Ten championship game. It's Indiana. It's Ohio State. Number 1 versus number 2 here. Both teams undefeated. I did not change the graphic here. That's supposed to be the game is on Fox, not on ABC. Ohio State, a 3.5 point favorite. I'll go first here. 3.5 is not enough. Give me Ohio State by 10.
Yeah, see, you're doing exactly what most of the nation does, and they just see Indiana and they see Ohio State, and it's not even close, right? But
I don't even think it's that. I think that Ohio State is a significantly better program. Indiana's had a fantastic season.
Indiana's had
but
better wins than Ohio State.
They have, but not by much.
Did Ohio State play Oregon in Eugene?
They did not. I also don't think Oregon is as good as everybody thought that they were going to be either.
Maybe not, but if you're talking like the third best team in the Big Ten, it's Oregon.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm gonna go Ohio State because until you can prove me wrong, or until a team can do it, like you got to ride with Ohio State. I think they've earned that respect. But I'm telling you right now, I would not be surprised at all for sitting here next week and Indiana's the Big Ten championship winner. I just think people look at that logo, look at that program, and just see it as inferior. And I don't think that's how anybody in that program feels. Kirk Cignetti has done a great job. I think people forget that he's just in year 2 there, I think. And wow, yeah, I think I'm gonna go Ohio State. Solely because it's like one of those things where it's like until they lose, I'm gonna pick them, and I don't feel good about this one. I don't know, but at least I know I can't lose to you on this one. So if we both pick Ohio State, I'm okay with it. That's fine.
Yep, that's fine. All right, next game is going to be the last one that we're picking this weekend. It is the ACC title game. It's Duke. It's Virginia. Virginia is a 3.5 point favorite in this contest.
I want Duke to win this game so bad. So I'm going to pick Duke. But yeah, you're fine. I just want to see the ACC not get a team in because I would love the committee to sit there and try to fight to make Miami an at-large bid just so the ACC has some representation. But I would love to see that. So give me Duke because if Virginia wins, then the ACC definitely has a team in there. But I don't want that. So give me Duke.
I'm going to pick different than you just because I do still have to make up some games, but I was totally going to pick Duke here because I am rooting for chaos. Yeah, but you know what? You know what? I'm going to take Virginia in this one because I do still have to make up some games. Look, Virginia has played very well this year.
They have. They're 10-2 in the year, man. I mean, they're not bad.
If I'm not mistaken, did these two teams play back earlier as well?
I can quickly find out as far as Duke goes. Duke played Virginia, in week looks like 9 or 10, and they lost to Virginia 34-17. So it entirely competitive either.
Was-
at least
was
by the
that-
final score, it was not competitive at all. Actually, Duke got 2 garbage time touchdowns. It looks like in the fourth quarter to make it 34-17. But it
was that game in Virginia, or was it in Duke?
It appears that this game was at Duke.
Oh, it was at Duke.
Yes,
I feel
it was at Duke.
feel-
Virginia, for instance, they were up 31-3 at the end of third quarter. And Virginia.
I think I vaguely remember this game because I really want to think that I picked Duke as my upset pick of the week that weekend,
Might have,
and it was bad.
but Virginia owned this game. I mean, it was a very big win, and it was not competitive at all. Even the final score making it look like it was a closer game, but it wasn't. It was not a close game at all.
Yeah, so give me Virginia in this one, but I do I do think this one is going to be much closer than that curve stopping
That'll
back
work
earlier.
I just can't get over the fact that Virginia lost to who did they lose to? Shoot fire. They lost to Wake Forest, and they lost to NC State at the beginning of the year.
And that game right there. So the reason that Virginia is in the ACC title game right now is because that game was already scheduled as a non-conference game, that NC State game. So that is why they only have one loss in the ACC this year.
That's crazy. Yeah. Anyways, so here we are. They only beat North Carolina by a point, dude. Like, Virginia's had some bad games, but whatever. I'm just trying to make myself feel better for picking Duke. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's good.
So
we're here.
Last thing that we got to do
We're
is pull up the standings. As last week I had a good week. I made up some games. Skylar still has a pretty decent lead on me. 9-game lead. But guess what I finally did last week?
Did you go undefeated?
No, I got an upset pick game right.
Oh, that a boy?
As
Dang.
Cal did beat SMU. You did get the cover, though, as Rutgers only lost to Penn State by like 3, I think.
Yeah,
2,
I'm upset
something
by
like
that
that.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. But obviously there's not a lot of big spreads this week. So do you have an upset pick game?
I think I do. Now that you mention it.
What you got? And this is a week because there's not a lot of big games. And if you see a spread that is 5 points or more, then I will accept that one because I'm leaning towards one that's a 5.5 point spread.
What is 5.5 point spread? Like what is, because everything I'm seeing is like a 4.5. I'm not looking on the same website as you. I'm not looking on Action 247, which is unfortunate, but I can't get the window open on my computer. But like from the games that I was interested in, it kind of goes against my pick, which I don't like doing. But BYU is a true double-digit dog, so I'm like, why not? But the other game that I'm looking at again goes against my pick, but it's Indiana. I don't know.
So the Indiana one, I have it as a 3.5.
Nah, I got one. It's like,
what you got?
It's yours. I almost know for a fact it's yours. But UNLV over Boise State.
That's the one that I was looking at.
Yep, I know it. Because it's the only one that's like right around that 5 point. You can have that one. That was yours. You already claimed it. So let me. There's no other games, dude. Holy crap!
I tell you what. I tell you what. Go ahead and take that one if you want it because.
Nope, I don't like that. Because
Look,
always. Wait, maybe I do want to take it because it's always your first one that you think of as the winner. So
yeah, so you can take that one if you want. Technically. So technically, I'm not 100% going against my pick here. I'm gonna take Troy to outright upset JMU. I picked Troy to cover. I did say that JMU wins the ball game, but I picked Troy to cover. So I'm gonna semi double down on this. I'm gonna take Troy with the outright win in the upset pick.
Oh, okay, I like it. As a 20, 22, 20. How big of a dog are they?
22.5 points.
Dang, I like it. And you're letting me have a 5-pointer? You're letting me have a... I don't like that. That feels like a setup. I feel like you're going to win, and I don't like it. But whatever. Yeah, I'll take it. UNLV over Boise State. I get to watch it tomorrow night, at least. We both get to watch ours tomorrow night. All right, dude.
Both of them are tomorrow night, aren't they?
Okay, upset pick of the week is taken care of. Look at that, dude.
All right, so it's time now to bring on Mr. Jake Arnold.
Let's do it, big dog.
Let's
He is
get him
offline at the
in
moment,
here.
but he will.
We'll be able to hear his voice.
He's lost
here
in the
just a
sauce.
second.
He's in our mind, is what he is. He's up there. He is. How you doing?
Once I figured out I could just chime in the middle of the show, that really just made me a little happy.
You can to us, but not to our listeners.
What?
Yeah, that's how that works.
Oh no, I thought they could hear me.
No, if you're not on the actual stream, they can't. But we can hear you.
That's
and I also have the option to mute you, which sometimes I do.
Say, you might want to mute me for next.
Sometimes
week.
you breathe, just a little bit too heavy, and I'm just like, no, I'm joking. It's good to have you here, Jake. How you been?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Just trying to make up for some losses. What's my ranking? Am I still what?
We don't want to. We don't want to show them. Don't worry.
You're still 2 games back. I'm pulling up the graphic now.
If you're listening, you still want to hedge these bets. No, I'm joking.
So I need 4-1.
We need a 4-1 week badly.
Yeah,
at the very least. I mean, an undefeated week would be nice, but yes, we went 3-2 last week. We are sitting at 37-39 overall.
Well, good, because I feel like one of my picks, y'all pretty much made it obvious that one's going to hit, but we'll get to that later. This has been a crappy week for bets because all I could do is pick 2 games twice for my picks.
I mean, it's not wrong though. I mean, there's only so many games playing this weekend.
I know.
We're not going to be betting on UNLV and whatever, right? Like
I'm not betting on Lehigh.
Yeah,
y'all aren't.
I'm actually not. No.
I can't believe this one. This one is my favorite. Georgia versus Alabama. Just a good old fashioned for this 13th time in 2 years this game gets to be played. I think the final score total from last year was an indicator that neither of these teams can score. But I like Alabama to win. I like Alabama money line here. I think that if you look at what Alabama does, they have the curse. They have the curse.
Yeah, they do.
They possess it.
They do.
So it's kind of just one of those things where at the end of the day, some people get it done and some people don't. Now I could have taken the points because this opened up as Georgia minus 2.5, and I could have done Alabama, plus 2.5. But I just went straight money line on this. I think who cares about a field goal at this point? Go for the throat. I did look at the score. I think the final score of the game this year was a little bit over like 50. I think it was 21. What was the final score of last year's game? I looked at it. Or I guess this year's game. I can't even think of what year we're in.
Yeah, it's 21-24, was it not?
Yeah, so 43 points is what we were looking at.
Yep.
What that does, in my opinion, is tell me that my following bet is pretty good because I took this also under 48.5 for both teams. I think both teams have good defenses. I think they both have very good coaching on both sides of the ball. I think that it's going to be very, very easy for these teams to know what they're playing for. And I think, defense is one of the few things that gets better and better and better every single week. The more reps you're able to play, the pending injuries helps you here. I don't know. I kind of feel like Alabama might run away with this one. But I still feel like it might be like a, 31-17 and I'm still clevering, what I mean?
Right.
So
I can see that.
It's just one of those weird games that, again, I just trust my instincts here. I know that if I were to play a team a second time, they're not going to score as many points as they did the first time, just by pure philosophy. So love that one. Y'all alluded to this one, Duke versus Virginia. I didn't take the points here because, again, I'm a big wuss. I gave you all some cash on the first bet by taking just Alabama straight up. Virginia's won some ugly games, man. They're 10-2 and they've won some ugly games.
This could be a 3-point game for sure.
Yeah. So 3.5, no, 2.5 maybe. But again, I think that 10-2 just shows your ability to win, no matter how ugly it is. To me, if you're going to be playing for a conference championship and you've already walked into Duke and beat them pretty handily, you're going to be able to play a lot more loose on defense. I think your quarterback knows, hey, we dropped 30 on them. I can do more. I like this one. This one's a pretty easy one for me. I didn't want to pick an over-under on it because of how sporadic that Virginia's been all year.
That's right.
So not touching that. This final game, I got 2 bets on this one. Guys, I love Indiana versus Ohio State. We've got the young blood versus the old blood, right? I mean, everybody's thinking Indiana might be the best team in the country. Ohio State knows they're the best team in the country, if you ask them. And it's one of those things where Ohio State's going to come in. They want to make sure that championship trophy room looks a little bit better.
They're still hoping for that undefeated year, right?
Oh, they're going to get it. They're going to get it at least in the regular season. And
I just feel like you don't feel like Ron Day always drops that one that he shouldn't.
He didn't.
Not this year because they beat Michigan.
Yeah,
the year's not over.
They walked into Michigan and took care of business.
The year's not over. Okay.
Hey, I've already won Ohio State team. They have exceeded expectations every single week. We're like, oh man, well, what if Michigan beats them? They didn't give Michigan a chance to beat them.
I mean, I didn't think Michigan would beat them. But it was more of like a running joke that they've lost 4 years in a row. So like,
pretty sure. I think I took Ohio State -10 last week versus Michigan.
That hit.
Ching. Okay,
that hit. I appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely.
Indiana, sorry guys, it's not going to happen. But here's the good news. I think this will be a fun ball game. That's why I like the over 48.5. Give me over 48.5 in this because neither team knows what the heck to expect. I know.
Really?
I think
Ohio State's got the number 1 defense in the land, dude.
They do, and I still think they'll have one of the best defenses. But Indiana's going to
Ohio State scoring 38 on their own is what I'm hearing.
It could be like that. I mean, I don't know where this game, like as far as the spread goes. We obviously know. I think everybody can agree. Ohio State's the better team roster wise. They're the defending national champions. Indiana has like fly on the wall type of defense. They've got a really good quarterback who could win the Heisman. I mean, you've got 2 guys who probably will be in the Heisman room.
I can promise you Diego Pavia is rooting like crazy for Ohio State to win this game easily.
Yeah, he's hoping Mendoza throws like 9 interceptions.
Right, 100%.
But again, I love it. I think that this game is going to be fun. I think that Kirk Cignetti knows the implications of this. You kind of see, a 2022 season in Kirk Cignetti where he had a good year the year before and comes in and has a really, really good year. He's elevated it. I mean, if you think about all the games Tennessee won in 2022, they were winning by a ton of points. And it's because the big games that they were playing, they were cooking up just some disgusting schemes. And you can do that. I think Indiana knows what they want to attack, and I think Ohio State knows what they have to do. And I just trust both of these teams with the firepower that they have, whether it's mental firepower or just physical receivers and dudes. I think there's at least 50 points in this game. Right. So love it. I think this is a 5-0 week. I think I've had one 5-0 week. Have I even had a 5-0 week?
You had a 4-0-1.
You had a 4-0-1. Yeah,
that's right.
You had a push on Action 247. We gotta love those whole numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta.
Yeah, that's again why I'm not taking some 3.5s here. Why I'm
that's right. That's right.
Lines. I'm playing this safe.
You're just trying to take the 3-wood off the tee box, put it in the fairway. You know what I'm saying? You gotta...
So Jake, I do got to ask you about a game that you hadn't mentioned on here. We were kind of talking about earlier. What's your feel on the BYU Texas Tech game?
What it was like 13.5 points was the spread.
12.5 is what we have here on Action 247.
What was the over under?
Over under is 49.5. I think the over hits.
I think the over hits too. I mean, but again, like my philosophy is always going to be defenses just get better and better each and every week. I don't know. I mean, I obviously I think without a doubt Texas Tech wins. I don't know if I'm taking 12.5, 13.5. I might. I don't know. I really haven't watched a lot of BYU. I know they're a good team. They're a playoff contender at this point.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
Legend Bay, sources told 247 Sports Wednesday evening that Bay was unhappy with the decision and would seek a path to be released from Tennessee and end up at Ohio State. According to Roach, we were told that this would likely play out in 3 weeks once Bay turns 18 on Christmas Eve, but Bay decided to communicate his unrest today. So as expected, even though it was a nice little win initially, I don't think Bay is a player that you would want to keep on staff anyways.
Yeah, he's a heck of a ball player.
He is, but if he's not, if he doesn't want to be here, I don't want to act like we have to have him. So
no, and I think it'll be interesting to get him on campus and see what he thinks 3 weeks is a long time because I mean that is a long time for somebody to make a decision. And this coaching stuff. I was actually on the phone yesterday with a couple of different coaches, just kind of talking about kids' character and what they thought of their signing day, and it's insane the dynamics you'll see. I mean, you have to remember, guys, every single family is so different. I mean, every family has such an odd dynamic that you would never know. Massive loss if we lose the kid. I think I agree with everybody involved. I want him to play where he wants to play. He's going to be a phenomenal player. That's what hurts. This is the kid that Willie Martinez needed to sign because he absolutely, to me, is your safety. The guy is lightning fast. He's running right around a 10-foot, 100-meter or 10-second 100-meter two-way player. God, you're making me just gush over this kid, but give him some time. If he goes there, he goes there. We got to get some guys on the portal. But
That's right.
I want to touch on the performance last Saturday.
All right, y'all have a great night, and we appreciate y'all being tuned in. And again, we go live every Thursday.
I don't blame Tim Banks as much as I'd like to. I was calling for his head in y'all's chat earlier.
I think we all were.
We're going to be emotional on it.
Still am.
But I want to see the common denominator is that Willie Martinez, every single time he's been on staff with us, has failed to produce a productive defensive.
There is no
statistic.
shot you're about to agree with me on this.
That's a fair point, actually, because
I
forgot about him being on staff whenever Butch Jones was here.
I cannot believe I got Jake Arnold on my side.
I got to see him coach when I was with Butch for one semester, and then he left pretty abruptly. He doesn't do a good job.
He doesn't,
in my opinion. I hate to say this about somebody. I think he's a phenomenal human being. I think he can recruit.
I think he loves the University of Tennessee, but at the end of the day, you got to produce.
Yeah, I mean, it's a travesty. If we had any bit of a secondary, we would have had a chance to maybe go 10-2, 9-3. But when you're
Jake, stop! You making it sound like I know ball. Stop it! I cannot believe you're agreeing with me.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Get him out.
I'm blushing over here.
Rodney
That's
Garner,
crazy.
no way leaving. Rodney Garner is staying after the decisions that were made at Auburn. They've got their D-line coach. That was really the only spot that Rodney Garner would go. And I understand just out of talking to other people, he does not want a defensive coordinator position. He does not want all that.
No, he loves just doing defensive line.
Yep. He just wants to coach line, man, and he's good at it. So I think we win. We win that one.
Yeah, so don't forget, guys, make sure that if you do decide that you're going to gamble, use the promo code Vol Fanatics. Use Action 247 whenever you use that promo code. If you have a gambling problem, please make sure you call the hotline number, 1-800-889-9789. Do not bet any money that you do not have because you will get in trouble, especially around this holiday season. Everybody's trying to go out and buy presents and things for their family and all that stuff. If you try to, put some money in on gambling to make an extra buck or two, make an extra $100 depending on how much you put in, and you lose that, then you're getting into trouble. So make sure you do utilize that hotline number if need be for any reason. I do have a couple of WTF picks this week if y'all like them.
I knew this guy was not gonna let us end the show without this. That's crazy.
I was not. And honestly,
UNLV at Boise State. No, I'm joking.
Yes. No, I'm just kidding. But before we end, since we got Jake on, I do also want to talk a little bit about the coaches since we didn't get to it earlier, just briefly. But WTF picks, we did go 1-1 last week as Arizona State unfortunately did not win. Houston did win.
I think I actually know. Can I guess?
So I've got 3 of them.
Okay, well, one of them's got to be Tulane, North Texas, right?
That is Tulane plus 2.5 versus North Texas. That's going to be one of them. I do think that Tulane, even with John Summerall leaving, I think that this team is going to rally around the fact that their coaches, deciding to stay for this conference title game.
Same night, Jacksonville State.
Jacksonville State.
Let's go! Now 2 for 2
against Kennesaw State. I'm getting on Jake's good side here because I do think that Jacksonville State is a good team. I think Kennesaw State is a good team as well, and turned things around for one of the worst programs in FBS last year to making the conference title game in their second year in Division I. I think that's fantastic, but I do think that Jacksonville State's a little bit better team, and I think that they're going to win this game outright. So, are you going 3 for 3?
That's what I gotta be careful with this one, but it would be so you to pick this one, but this would be one that I don't even think of. Am I on the right track?
Maybe.
Miami, Western Michigan.
No, I'm not going that
Dang
far.
it!
I'm going with the SEC title game. Give me
That's what I thought.
Alabama outright over Georgia. I think
That was too easy. That was low hanging grapefruit.
You take them.
I didn't take it, dude.
I picked them outright. I'm also going to pick them in the WTF. I think that Alabama should be favored in this game. I think that they will win. So my 3 games, once again, Jacksonville State plus 2.5 versus Kennesaw State, Tulane plus 2.5 versus North Texas, and then Alabama plus 2.5 against.
You definitely lied, by the way. I was not even close to being on track. You're like, maybe, whatever.
I did.
It's messed up, bro.
Yeah,
it's fine.
But no, let's talk about the 6 new hires in the conference. So, take off with whoever y'all want. Skylar, so you mentioned that there is a clear winner.
There is a clear winner.
I think we're actually disagreeing on this one.
Well, I don't care, but we all know who the clear winner is. It's Alex Golesh to Auburn. I don't care what your opinion is. That it can't get any worse. And that dude's a proven winner. That dude took a 1-11 USF team, had them winning 7 games immediately, won 9 games in his 3rd year there, beat Florida already. Like, I don't know. Like, to me, like, as a proven winner, he's going to be an exciting brand of football. And we all admit that our offense looked dramatically different without him there. So I think at the very least, he's going to have that offense humming. And if he could just have defense come around, obviously, he's going to put the pieces in place to make that happen. But without a doubt, if I was looking for a head coach this offseason, Alex Golesh was my top 3 coach, and Auburn secured him. Thought Arkansas had did it. I thought they'd done it, and I was going to give Arkansas all the credit in the world, but they could not make it happen. He ends up going to Auburn. To me, that is your clear winner this season with the coaching carousel. I think that's a home run.
I think that's a winner, but I don't think that's the number 1 clear.
So here's your number 1.
It is Lane. I'm going to go Lane Kiffin.
It's not Johnson.
Oh, well, okay. Take Lane Kiffin.
Lane Kiffin ain't it. That's just a wrong answer. Period.
No. That is a correct answer. He knows how to coach ball. The guy can get some absolute psychos on his football team, and that's what wins games.
JP makes a couple of good points here. Bama will be missing their number 1 tight end. And they are kind of on a downhill slide. And I hate to say the downward slide, but like they have been playing games a little bit. They've been playing with fire. Okay, let's be honest. But I like it. That makes me feel better about taking Georgia. Lane Kiffin's not it, guys. It's not. I don't think Lane Kiffin's going to do anything at LSU that he couldn't do at Ole Miss. On top of that,
I think he's got more NIL dollars there.
I know he did. That's not a problem. But the overall structure of LSU right now is god awful. You had
I won't necessarily disagree with you there.
Governor hiring Lane Kiffin. You didn't even have an athletic director hiring him. Like, I don't know. Just it's not a good situation in there. I love how everybody said that too until they went and hired Lane Kiffin. Everybody was like, who would even want to coach at LSU? They don't even have an athletic director. I don't even know if they have a president. They're like Florida 2.0, dude. And then all of a sudden they hire Lane Kiffin and everybody's like, man, they did it. What a hire. This is amazing. This is the greatest thing since.
They make sense, man. They make sense. They make so much sense together. It's 100%.
So Jake, I want to hear your reason behind John Summerall. Why you think that's the clear?
Oh yeah, Billy 2.0. From Louisiana.
No.
The exact same record. The exact same. No, okay, all right, right on.
John Summerall lives, breathes, and eats ball, and he also likes a side of winning every single place he goes. I mean, he took Troy to what, a 12-2 record. Troy.
Who?
Troy has statistically been a good program though for several years.
Troy is also 8-4 and playing in the Sun Belt Championship.
Okay.
Without him,
correct. 8-4. 12-2 is a little bit different than 8-4.
You said 10-2. Or I thought you said 10-2. I'm sorry.
No, they went 12-2. I might have said 10-2. This guy, he's coached everywhere. He's been multiple SEC schools. He's won there. He's won at Tulane. finally a first big job. I think the guy can recruit. He's a good evaluator of talent. Think about who's come out of there. Brazel's a guy who's come out of there. Tulane has always been a
Tajay
spot where
Spears.
there's a ton of talent that comes out of what he
Not gonna-
recruits.
But what's the difference between him and Billy Napier? Because I mean, Billy Napier, everybody was saying about him when he took the.
I don't think Billy Napier runs like a staunch version of an offense that I personally profusely hate. It's like we're just going to play assignment football and we're not going to think any different. Like that's this is going to sound awful, but that's the Nick Saban type of deal where Nick Saban's like, we're going to play alignment assignment technique and God forbid we do anything emotional whatsoever. That's always been the Lane Kiffin. And if you think about what Nick Saban said about Lane Kiffin, Nick Saban is like, he really helped me get my offense to what it was getting to modernized. John Summerall is going to be a guy who's ride or die. I mean, that's why it's such a big deal. I think the Tulane pick's a no-brainer versus North Texas, because he, again, loves his players. He loves what he does, and he's recruited at such a high level at whatever school he's been to. He's gotten some guys out of East Mississippi that I know of personally that I would have never thought would pan out. I'm just very shocked that they were able to get this hire. I would have swore John Summerall was going to Penn State just because of the lucrativeness of that job. I also would have thought John Summerall might have gone to LSU. That was my first thought when LSU opened up, not Lane Kiffin, until Lane Kiffin decided I'm going to go to the best job in America, which it is the best job in America if you don't count Ohio State. It's LSU or it is Ohio State is the best job, the brand of college football. Summerall's great. Golish great. Getting some good pieces together. But if it was like I'm ranking them on best to worst, I think you have to put Lane Kiffin.
Go ahead and do that, because I was actually going to rank who I thought was 1 through 6 in the hires.
Arkansas is last.
Yeah, I mean, who's your 6? So the only thing I'm thinking of is going to be Lane Kiffin 1, Summerall 2, Golish 3. I don't know the others.
All right, so here's my list. All right, Lane Kiffin to me is number 1.
Yeah,
I think that's overall number 1 hire. I'm actually going to go. I'm going to go Summerall at 2. I do think that was a good hire. We'll see if it turns out different than Billy Napier. I think that it can. We'll see. I'm actually going to go Will Stein at Kentucky, number 3.
Maybe.
I think that was exactly what Kentucky needed. You need an offensive guy to come in there.
Yeah, but it's Kentucky. Sorry.
That's
true.
Kind of where I'm at.
That's true. But I think that Kentucky made a great hire. Granted, we'll see how it turns out, because this is his first stint as a head coach at the FBS level. So we'll see how that goes.
He's an offensive coordinator somewhere. Where was he from?
At Oregon.
Oregon, yes. Right on.
Yeah. So I am going to go Golish at 4.
Hater.
Only because of the situation he's inheriting at Auburn. But I do think that he's going to have success there. He's going to have the
best roster in the SEC, or like what kind of situation are we talking about?
I mean, you look at how Auburn has completely butchered their football program over the last several years. And granted, I know that it's been Hugh Freeze the reason why, but yeah, I've got Golish at 4. I've got Pete Golding being promoted at Ole Miss at number 5.
That's fine.
Like
5 and 6 are the hardest 5 and 6 you're going to possibly have.
Now, granted, I will say this. Ole Miss kind of got put into a bad situation with the Lane Kiffin stuff dragging on a little bit. You kind of got behind the 8 ball with that. But I still think that they could have taken some time to try to find somebody else besides just hiring from within.
A lot of stuff in the media, too. I got to give a lot of credit to Keith Carter, the athletic director, for putting an end to it. I mean, you can't just let the guy, because he would have absolutely just said, I don't know, or I'm happy here, or, I don't know, like, it's all about this team. Like, he would have absolutely dragged it on as long as he could have. And then the moment they lost in the playoffs, because I don't think they were winning the Natty, he would have dipped immediately and then taken the players, the staff, whatever. So the fact that Keith Carter stood up and said, no, I need to know now, because I'm not about to let this happen. We need to do something now. Kudos to him, because I understand a lot of people think that's wrong, but the whole situation's wrong, in my opinion. So
completely agree. But I also agree that, you needed some stability going into the playoffs. And obviously Pete Golding was going to be the only obvious choice to keep that stability. And then lastly of all, it is Ryan Silverfield. I mean, you look, he has had arguably the best team in the group of 5 over the last couple of years, been projected each and every year to win the Conference USA, win the American every single year, and is yet to make a conference title game. They finished off 8-4 this year, just cannot live up to the expectations. It was a complete travesty for Arkansas, the fact that they could not officially sign Alex Golish, and they ended up having to go and get Ryan Silverfield.
It's like it's almost like a Butch Jones equivalent. Arkansas State, like I don't know.
Kinda, yeah.
I mean, I don't expect much from Arkansas, man. That was unfortunate. I mean, obviously they had several no's. They went after several other coaches before him, but at the end of the day, I think you just had to keep on looking. You can't just settle, and I think they settled 100%.
Yeah, and you've got Arkansas fans that are absolutely calling for their athletic
Oh,
director's job
absolutely.
right now.
They're pulling like Tennessee and Shiano deal. They're definitely trying to do their best to correct that. But I don't know. It is what it is. Jake, appreciate you having you here on. We need to go 4-1 or better, man. We got to have that happen. So
it happen.
I believe it. I believe in it.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
But until then, we'll see you next week.
All right, Skylar. Well, you got anything else before we close out the show this weekend?
I don't know, man. It's a bummer of a week, obviously coming off a Vols loss Saturday, but man, sports in general has been tough. Just to touch on basketball just a little bit, you got the big win over Houston, payback time, right? But then you lose the next 2 games, and so gonna have to do something. Got to correct it. Star players are having some down games, so hopefully they can get that corrected. You have Rick Barnes coming out and publicly saying that your true freshman Nate Edmonton is pressing, is trying too hard, trying to do too much on his own, and not playing together as a team. So it's kind of unfamiliar hearing Rick Barnes call out a player like that, but at the end of the day, I don't think he's wrong. So
I'm going to disagree as far as that goes. I feel like that he calls out players, maybe not to the point that he did with Nate Ament, but I mean, you look what he's done with Zakai Ziegler in the past. He's called out.
Well, that's a 4-year player and
correct.
I mean, not a true freshman. I don't know. Yes, you're right. He has called out single players individually, but I'm saying like usually I feel like he tries to protect his younger players, and I mean, I don't know why protect's the right word, but I mean, yeah, he's calling out his star players. I mean, put it that way. Dalton Connect was another one where if he played bad, I mean, he would absolutely call out Dalton Connect. But I mean, again, that's a star player that obviously they look for Nate Ament to be that guy, right? But just not playing up to that potential at the moment.
Yeah,
still not a bad player. Just
still very early. Still a lot of good games for the men's side before we get to the Christmas break. The Lady Vols this weekend take one on the chin to UCLA before turning around last night and getting a big win at Palo Alto against Stanford in the SEC ACC Women's Challenge. Still a lot to work on there with the Lady Vols as well. A very young team, just like the men's, just like the football team. You're going to have these lumps, but Kim Caldwell not shying away from the competition. That's why she's scheduled as tough a non-conference as she has so far, so she can see where her team is at.
Yeah, and Stanford wasn't ranked, but they were 8-1. So I mean,
yeah,
not a bad team.
Yeah, and you look at the UCLA game, you're a couple of turnovers away in that third quarter. Or honestly, it was early fourth quarter. You're a couple of turnovers away from, instead of it being a 20-point lead for UCLA, Tennessee's cut the lead down to 5 and has got a chance to end up coming back, taking the lead, possibly winning the game. So, I mean, a lot of young players, a lot of things that they still got to work on. They're still gaining that continuity together. But really excited for the future of these two programs. Probably not going to start talking about basketball fully on this show until we get to SEC play, which is going to be after the Christmas break. We'll mention it some, but we still got football to talk about. And kind of like what we did last year, we are still going to have a football segment on each show that we do. So kind of be thinking about some off-season topics we can talk about. I know we've got different things that we'd like to see Tennessee do as far as coaching changes, as far as player changes, personnel changes, things like that. But we've got all sorts of topics that we can talk about during this off-season. So especially with all the new listeners that we have in the chat this evening. We really appreciate you guys coming in and chatting us up this evening. Think about some topics. Come back and watch us again. If you have not subscribed, please do that. Once again, all it does is help us out. It's free. It's not going to cost you anything. We're not going to spam you with notifications with, all this other stuff. It just helps us out to get out to more people.
That's right. And until then, guys, we will see y'all next Thursday right here, 8 o'clock Eastern sharp, and we will see y'all then. Thank you so much. Go Vols.
Go Big Orange.